Hi, everyone. Good morning. I don't know when you guys are listening to this. Morning, afternoon, whatever the fuck. Good day. If you're watching this right now, I'm so sorry. I am physically unwell. I'm just exhausted. Literally yesterday, I said to Kelsey, because we've been doing so many guest episodes. So yesterday I said to Kelsey, what the fuck am I talking about on this podcast tomorrow? And then last night happened, and in the midst of the chaos, I looked to Kelsey and I said, I know what I'm talking about on tomorrow's pod. Actually, I think I've talked about this before on a podcast episode. It's kind of morbid, but when I was taking acting classes in Boston, I had an acting teacher say something along the lines of, when you're acting, right, you're collecting tools for your toolbox that you can access when you play different characters. So there's a lot of different processes, guys, I don't know words today. There's a lot of different ways in which people go about acting and the craft. However, I would imagine when you're acting and you are in a scene in which someone dies, it's probably a little bit easier to get to that point and understand the severity of those emotions if you've experienced loss. And that was basically her whole point of, when you go through these things in life, whether they be good or bad, when you're acting, you have this weird thing that clicks and you're like, oh my God, I know this is terrible and so sad and the worst thing ever, but this is now another thing I add to my toolbox. And she said it's so morbid, but when her mom died, after she dealt with like the initial wave of intense sadness and grief, she had this moment where she said, wow, this is like a big tool for my toolbox that I never had before. I can kind of stick it in my little toolbox and access it. So now, all that to say, because I have a podcast now, anytime something happens that's just at the end of the day funny, I'm like, well, you know what? At the very least, it's going to make for a good podcast story. This week has been, you know what? I really need to be better at taking the time to process things, because I've talked about before, and I think we all fucking do this. I don't take time to celebrate anything, because taking time to celebrate something in my mind would mean pausing for a second. And when I pause, I have this weird lingering fear that I'm like forever stopped. I don't know where that anxiety comes from. Okay, I'm working through it in therapy. Nevertheless, this week, literally the last fucking 7 days, I had a campaign come out with Sarah Michelle Gellar, okay, Queen of Halloween, and Maybelline, number one. Number two, I finally met my number one, Miley Cyrus. And then number three, I kicked it with Selena Gomez and paid double the amount of what my budget was during an auction for an event that I cannot attend. And that's the story we're going to lead with today. So last night, we go to the Rare Beauty Impact Fund, a beautiful event. Okay. You guys know I really don't go to many events. And when this one came through, I was so excited. She does this every year. I want to say she's been doing it for 3 or 4. Yeah, 3 or 4 years. It truly is beautiful. Rare Beauty and Selena, they do so much in the mental health space. It's very inspiring. But essentially, it's this big gala charity. And there's all these like vendors and activations. And Selena's there, obviously. And every year there's a cool host. And then there's musical performances. And then they fucking load you up with alcohol and inspiring conversations, and then they say, all right guys, let's fucking make some money. So last night, we're going to this. My manager actually had called me. I've never been to an auction in my entire life. I maybe had gone to one like as a child, which obviously I'm not bidding, but my manager had called me when we got the invite and was like, hey, I know your personality. You're not going to be the type of person that's going to be able to sit through a live auction with there being a charity donation portion and not bid. And I was like, yeah. And she said, come up with the number that you feel comfortable with, that is responsible and you know, that you feel comfortable using, and fucking stick to it. And I said, yeah, no problem. I really believed no problem. Well, something about me, I shouldn't drink alcohol. I like one drink in me, and I'm the person that's like, no, I need to buy every single person at this bar a drink, okay? And I've been doing that. In fact, I'll interject real quick. God, see, this is the issue. When I'm tired, the ADD really starts cranking up. Okay, you guys really need to fucking lock in here. I know my story is going to be all over the place. I need you to lock the fuck in. All right, whatever you're doing right now, Mary, Jenny, Charlotte, Samantha, Kelsey, I need you to stop what you're doing. I know you're like running or driving or studying for a test. I need you to pause. I need you to lock in because these stories are going to be all over the place. And I don't have time to go back because I'm going to forget the storyline. Let me just interject, okay? Quick little sidebar. We're going to talk about Chateau Marmont, which is where I went to the Miley Cyrus event. Just to give you an idea of what I am like in these kinds of circumstances. When I lived in LA in 2015, I didn't have any money. I was working a few odd end jobs and spending it all on headshots and acting classes. My group of friends, none of us had money. Even at that point, I always had this thing where I was like, I am paying for everything. It comes from my dad. My dad has always been wildly generous. My dad would give you the shirt off his back. My dad could have nothing and he would give you his last morsel of whatever he has. And I don't know. I remember as like a very young child, I think a huge motivator for me to be successful and to be financially successful was so that I could take care of people around me, because I always thought that was like the coolest thing. And I think my love language is gift giving, and that's just like being able to take care of, I don't know. I feel very fulfilled in times in which I get to do that. So hold on, I'm going to have a couple moments of being winded because I've drank no water. Actually, I almost No, we're not doing another sidebar. Okay, here we go. So anyway, Chateau Marmont 2015. We go to Chateau. Kelsey's laughing at me because no, it's so bad, guys. Okay. Anyway, Chateau. Yeah, deep breath. We were dicks during this time. We were drinking champagne because we were always going out with promoters and sitting at tables, and that's what they have was champagne, and we didn't know any better. So then we just picked up the douchiest trait, which was, oh, we only drank champagne. What fucking cunts. Also, drinking champagne as your go-to beverage when you literally have $25 in your bank account at any given time is like the most fuck all shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, you want to talk about beer budget, champagne taste, beer budget? We were living it. We were like, no, we will barely make rent, but we're getting Dom for drinks tonight. So we go to Chateau. At this point, I don't really know that there's a difference between top shelf and bottom shelf. I don't know. They're all on a shelf. Didn't know that there was a hierarchy of fucking alcohol. We go to the bar. I said, guys, don't worry. Big Mama's got it. I go to the bar. I said, yeah, can I have 3 glasses of champagne? The bartender says, yeah, you get a preference? I said, whatever you recommend. The fuck do you mean? Whatever you recommend? Champagne? Chateau Marmont? 2015? Are you fucking insane? I get the bill. It's like $250. I like really, really secretly opened my Bank of America account. I think I had like 200 or like 210. I end up overdrafting. Okay. So all of that to say, my manager calls me and is like, hey, pick a fucking number and commit to that number. Don't be crazy. I'm like, yeah, Mel, I'm going to be fine. It's not going to be like, don't worry about me. I'm responsible. Shane also had many conversations with me before this event. He's like, what's your number? I said, I think my number is $5,000. I said, that feels like a number in which I am still making an impact, a rare impact, and I'm still being fiscally responsible. I feel like that's a good number. I feel comfortable there. $5,000. He goes, good. Do you want to call your business manager and let him know? No need to bring Jake into this. We don't. And Don, no, I'm fine. He's like, are you sure? Do you want to just run things by them to keep you accountable? No, it's not a problem. It was a problem. It was a problem. So we get there, we're having so much fun. And what they do is these are, I don't know if you've ever been in one of these little fucking what are they called? Auctions. I don't know if you've ever been in one of these, but they grease you up. They oil you, they lube you down. They massage you before you sit down and give you that paddle. Oh my God, they give you a God complex. Here, let me take an amazing photo of you. Oh, actually, come over to this booth. We're gonna get your aura read. I'm like, oh, my aura read. I get my aura read. I come out. The guy's basically like, yeah, your aura is fucking stellar. So you can imagine the God complex we're all experiencing at this point, right? We got open bar. They're making the cocktails kind of strong. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. I got 2 gin and tonics down the guzzy. Base is giving out free shit. PacSun's giving out free shit. Lululemon's giving out free shit. Kendall Tools, like, I love you. Like, I'm on powerful right now. Okay, I'm ready to spend money. And actually, the last thing I did before I walk into the area in which we were going to be bidding on items, the last thing I did was got my aura read. So I was like really feeling in touch with everything. We sit down. We're sitting right in the front. Jimmy Kimmel comes out. Well, Selena does her emotional, beautiful intro, thanking everybody, talking to the sponsors, everything that's going on. Jimmy Kimmel comes up. He's just a hoot. You know, he's funny. He just makes you want to spend money. I feel expensive. All of those nice words. I don't know what's going for auction at this point. I know that I am going to bid on something. I know that my max is $5,000, but I'm open to anything. The one thing that I do know has been going up for auction the past couple of years, the one that I'm like, ooh, I would really love that, is a cooking class with Benny and Selena. I'm like, that would just be so awesome. I can't cook a fucking thing. It'll make for great content. I adore Selena. It'll be a great night. You can bring friends. Okay. So in my mind, that's somewhere floating in the back that's going to be one of the fucking items. Well, first item, Smartless podcast. You want to know the funniest thing? I don't listen to Smartless. Kelsey, you didn't know that, did you? I don't listen to Smartless. I'm a big fan of Jason Bateman and Will Arnett. Don't listen to Smartless. I had to leave that part out on social because I was like, people already think I'm like actually ridiculous for this that I did. I love Jason Bateman. I love Will Arnett. Like, to adore them so much. Love them. Okay. And Smartless podcast, it's like the #1 comedy podcast. Shane, are you crying right now? Shane has actually worked with them like virtually on something for Smartless. So I've always known about Smartless, but I am just such a huge fan of them. And it was a meet and greet. Essentially, they're doing one of their tapings, and they always have incredible guests. They always have other wonderful comedians or actors. It just guaranteed to be an unbelievable show. Okay. It's a live taping at the Hollywood Bowl. You know, it's a meet and greet. Okay. Now, mind you, I've been getting tagged in quite a lot of videos because this was kind of the punchline of the entire night. Because this was the first item out the gate. Auctioneer comes up, mind you. I raise my paddle when there's no money on the line. She just says, "Smartless podcast." My paddle's already up, which is like, come on, please have a poker face. Like, there's got to be some politics in playing this game. Like, I was not in it for the long game. I was like, I'm getting this. So I watched these videos back, okay, because I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting since last night because I fucked up. The first thing that she says is November 15th, a Smartless taping. My paddle's up. My paddle's like strongly up. Behind me, right behind me, all of the details. Smartless, live taping, meet and greet, November 15th at the Hollywood Bowl. And she said it several more times during this time. I didn't hear it. So it starts off at like a good price. What did it start off at? Like $500 or something. It started off, I was like, oh, this is going to be a shoo-in. I'm actually going to get a deal. I'm going to come home with this for $2,500. It's going to be amazing. It escalates so fast. Okay. Like no one warns you about how, like, I didn't even know what number we were at, but I had way too much of an ego to sit. I was like, well, I can't sit now. I'm literally standing. I wasn't being like meek about it. Like, I was standing the fuck up, waving my paddle. And before we know it, it was at $7,500. Kelsey is poking me, grabbing my arm. In every video you hear her go, "Christina." I fucking shoo her off me. I fucking like literally, I'm like, get the fuck away from me, bitch. Get away, you fucking narc. I'm trying to spend some money. And the funniest thing is this is for Smartless, and I'm being a dumb fucking bitch. Before I know it, it's at $7,500. And it takes me a couple seconds to process how fast that happened. And I was like, this is what the people that like go to Vegas and like how you can lose money so fast. I understand now. Like in a blink of an eye, I was 75 deep. You know, 75 hard? Yeah, that's what 75 hard is. 75 hard is going to an auction and it going from $500 to $7,500 in a blink, and you have too much of an ego that you can't say no. To be honest with you, I probably would have went to $100,000 because I was like, I don't know how to get out of this. And then I would have had to, but you guys got like a payment plan. You do afterpay for this shit? Because I can't, what am I going to do? I'm going back and forth with this guy who very obviously wants to take his beautiful wife or girlfriend that was sitting next to him. No, he was not going to get in the way of me and the show that, by the way, I cannot attend. So it's $7,500, and I see him look at me and hold 10 fingers up. And I go, 10? And the auctioneer goes, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't look at him. Look at me. I go, okay. And then we go back and forth a couple more times. She says, okay, it's yours. You're the challenger. 10,000? I say, yeah, 10,000. 10,000. Mind you, Kelsey at this point is like, because she knows that Shane is going to be fucking mad at me and in turn going to be mad at Kelsey because Kelsey's responsibility was not to let me spend more than $5,000. I win it. I'm feeling so good. I go, oh, this is going to be such a fun night. I had a plan. Like this whole time I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Smartless. I get to meet them all after. I'm going to give them like a soft pitch for a show. I was so douchey. I was like, I don't network, but like, this is my chance. I'm going to get their advice. I'm going to be like, there's so many questions I want to ask them. We're going to make some awesome content. Like it's going to be amazing. And then I'm going to try to coerce them to get on the podcast. I'm going to put them on the spot, maybe give them a gin and tonic or two. All of a sudden, how did the date get brought up to me? I literally blacked all of this out. Everything happened so fast. Yes, you're right. Kelsey said like, wait, you're not here. And I said, what do you mean you're not here? I'm not here. And she said, you're not here. It's November 15th. And I'm trying to think, I'm like, okay, hold on, what fucking month am I in right now? Mind you, I only have one trip for the rest of the year. We've known about this trip. I know what weekend it is. It's one trip. It's not like I'm getting confused because I have so many travels coming up. I got one. I have literally one until Q1. One until Q1, okay? This bitch knows that I'm not. She goes, you're not going to be here. I go, what do you mean you're not going to be here? I go, oh my God, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be in Vegas. I'm going to be in Vegas for a brand opportunity that I'm equally excited about. However, I just spent $10,000, double the amount that I wanted to spend. It's great. It's all going to a good cause. But like at the very least, let me get like a nice little evening out of it. I'm panicking. I go, hey, it's fine. Kelsey's like, there's got to be another show. There's got to be another show. So Kelsey's breaking out fucking Ticketmaster, and she's like, she looks at me, she goes, Christina. Because I even said to the Rare Girls, because the Rare Girls were laughing their fucking ass off that I did this. And I said, she said, oh, we're going to see what we can do. I go, listen, I'm in it on the auction. Like I'm the 10,000, that's not a question. But like, if there's a world in which there's another show somewhere else, I will buy the flights and I'll fly out to see them. Just like if I can get any other tickets. Kelsey's like, yeah, that's not a problem. They got to be able to have like another show. Kelsey pulls up Ticketmaster. She looks at me. She goes, Christina, that's like their only live show ever. I said, what do you mean? What do you mean? And you guys know I don't do plan Bs. I only do plan As. So I was like, and it was easier for me to process the idea of like, how can I convince Smartless to do another live taping? Because there's got to be a way. There's got to be something we could do. I was not willing to accept defeat. And of course, everybody at our table got a huge, another fucking event in which I'm bringing the entertainment. Okay, because the amount of fucking IG stories I got tagged in this morning. Christina spent $10,000 and she can't even go. Yeah, it's funny. It's really funny. So then I text Shane last night. While it all happened, I literally said, you're going to kill me. He said, $10,000 question mark. I said, $10,000. I said, but it's worse. I can't even go to the activation I paid for. And he loves Smartless. He also equally is as much of a fan of the guys as I am. And he's worked with them before. And I said, Shane's birthday is in November. I said, happy birthday. You're going to Smartless. I'm not buying him a fucking birthday present. Okay. I go, but he doesn't get to just go and enjoy, right? Like there's got to be a catch. I'm like, you got to go to Smartless. You got to vlog it. And when you get backstage, you need to film yourself and them, and you need to tell them the situation. And I need to hear their response. And I'm hoping Jason Bateman's is exactly what I would think it would be. She's a dumb bitch. She needs to read the fine print. You know, like that's just all I can ask for. But I just need that storyline to pan out. Literally 20 minutes before I started filming this podcast, Shane calls me. He goes, hey, I'm going to be in New York when you're in Vegas. I go, what the fuck do you mean you're going to be in New York when I'm in Vegas? He's like, yeah, I got to go to New York for work. Sorry, Win. Okay, so that's story one. Kelsey's fucking dying. Guys, I literally though, like all of this was happening. I'm thinking about a million things. I'm also like slightly drunk, so it really hasn't hit me how much money $10,000 is. Like $10,000 is a lot of fucking money, and I just like blew it out the window. I didn't blow it out the window. It's going to a good cause. I don't regret that at all, but it is a lot of money. But I'm not processing that yet. I'm processing the fact that I can't go to the show, and then I'm also a little drunk, and then, you know, so many things. And then this morning I sobered up real quick. I woke up, I go, what happened last night? I'm fucking 10 G's out the bag. I don't even get to go see these guys. But I'm like, it's going to make a great story. One day I'm going to be on their pod, or we're going to do something great together, and it's going to be like, it'll be a story, right? I have to believe that, because if not, I'm just going to fucking die inside. And then on top of it, I meet Miley Cyrus this week. Honestly, it really was the most amazing week. You know what I did ask Selena, though? When I went up to her, I did, because I've met her one other time before, and she's such an angel, and she's so intentional about talking to you and really making you feel seen and heard. And she asks you about you, and she looks you in your eyes, and she's very warm. But I went up to her and I congratulated her because she's married. And I asked her, I said, do you feel like you were really able to enjoy your wedding? Do you really feel like you were able to like be present? And she said, I was really nervous that I wasn't going to be able to, but I did a really good job at kind of like having these moments in which I stepped away and kind of like had our time and did our own thing. Because I always think about that. I'm like, a wedding as a normal person is so many levels and layers. And then a wedding as Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco, right? Like there's so many external factors there. And her saying she was able to be present is yeah, it's a huge deal. I met Miley Cyrus. I've never been nervous in my entire life to meet anybody. Oh my God. I was like, I turned into fucking mush. I didn't think it was possible for me to ever get like that. I'm so quick, and I'm so good at awkward situations, and I'm so good at hiding my true feelings. And Miley Cyrus has always really been my number one muse. Actually, I've been saved in Kelsey's phone as Miley since high school. Yeah. And she's Kylie in my phone, which we should probably change that, because if there's ever an emergency and someone needs to contact, no one's going to know who we are. Yeah. But she's Kylie and I'm Miley. We've both dressed up as both of those people for Halloween. Like, I am ride or die for Miley. I've always had this, number one, she's an international fucking rock star, okay? But I admire her so much because she came out of this wholesome Disney world, in which was amazing. Like, what a time. We loved Hannah Montana. We loved that whole era of her. But being able to watch her in real time try to get out of that pigeonhole and like rebel against it, and then be kind of wildly misunderstood. And I feel like she's finally come into her own, and she seems so herself, and so like that bitch could sell out an international tour every single day for the rest of time. And the fact that she's so intentional about only wanting to do these really small, cool, intimate performances, she's intentional about the kind of partnership she does, and she's so cool, and she's so fashionable, and like I really do adore her. I love like that she's always with her mom and her sisters. I really envy their dynamic and kind of how they all do business together. So what's been really cool about the whole Miley's always been number one. There's a very, 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 very small list of people that I would just like love to sit down with and just absolutely pick their brain. And Miley is on the very, very top of that list. However, I have this thing where I think because I've always been in the intersection of acting and content creation, that I've only ever wanted to meet those people in circumstances where I felt like, not that I was equal, because I don't think that that's going to happen in this lifetime, but at least that that it was a safe space for them. I don't want to ever come up to them as a fan. You know, I always was like, oh, I hope I see Miley for the first time. Like if we're both working on a set together, or if we're both, you know, whatever it may be at some, the Grammys, like somewhere where we both got the same invite and it's kind of just like, you know, in different worlds, but at the same thing. I will avoid celebrities. There's been many a times I've gone to events with many celebrities. I will avoid them. I will go into another room. It is not because I don't love them or think they're so cool or want to talk to them. I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable at all. But I do the same thing with networking. Like I will, even as an actor, I would go somewhere and a dream casting director or a dream director would be there and I would fucking avoid them. And then my team would call me and be like, did you meet so-and-so? And I would say, no, I put myself in the other fucking room. In fact, there was a time that I met somebody that I needed to network with and I got so awkward when they asked me what I did because I didn't want to say actor because I was so afraid that they would think that I was using this conversation as a means to get something from them, that I said I was in marketing. I said I was in fucking marketing. My team called me the next day. This is my acting team back in the day. And they were like, did you talk to so-and-so? I said, yeah, I told him I was in marketing because I wanted the conversation for them to feel safe. What the fuck is that all about? So, and my aura guy did tell me that I do that in so many words. He was like, you are the cool English teacher that everybody loves, that like they feel comfortable telling their stuff to. Did he say that to you? We had a really hot English teacher in high school. I wonder what he's doing now. So I didn't, the manifestation of this Miley thing and why it's so cool is this year I did a voiceover. You guys might have seen it or heard it. There's a Marshall's commercial. It's still on air. There's a 60-second spot during commercials on television. There is a 30-second spot on YouTube ads. There's a radio spot. But I did the voiceover for this Marshall's commercial. That was really awesome. I didn't know until the commercial aired that the music, the song that was used, that they got the rights to, was Miley Cyrus. So my voice plays over a Miley Cyrus song. That was like the coolest fucking thing. So that happened this year. The next thing that happened this year is my campaign with Maybelline and Sarah Michelle Gellar came out. Simultaneously, Miley is the face of a Maybelline product right now. So we both had Maybelline campaigns out at the same time. This is like so serendipitous. So this Maybelline event is happening. I get the invite. I'm like, I have to fucking be there. I know Miley's going to be there. Their team, like, or Maybelline, like, hey, is there any ops for like Christina to capture content with Miley? They were like, no. Essentially, we get the impression that like Miley's not going to be doing any content of any sorts. I'm like, great. Honestly, that's amazing. It takes the pressure off the night. I can have fun. I don't have to be stressed about like meeting her or what I would say. So I'm going into this just knowing that she's probably going to make an appearance, make a speech, and then be gone, right? This event is fucking packed, by the way. Like every iconic creator you could ever imagine, not only from LA, they flew bitches out from Canada, they flew bitches out from New York, like all of the OGs, everybody was in this room. Like it was insane. Miley pops out. She looks fucking beautiful. She pops out. She has her little sexy little speech. And I'm like, awesome, amazing. Let's go drink. I go to the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom, like just out away from the party. Somebody from Maybelline runs up and she's like, I need you now. And I went to her. I looked her in the eye. I go, no. She goes, no, you need to come with me. I said, no. She said, no, you need to come with me right now. Fuck, I think I'm going to meet Miley Cyrus. And I didn't prepare what I was going to say. So I run down the stairs and I run into this little private room and this like above a little table area. And Miley's like fucking being so cool at the DJ booth. She's like fucking being a rock star. And I'm in this little area and it's like me and a couple creators and then like Miley's mom and sister. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening right now? And Miley comes up and I see her. She's right there. And what do? Avoid eye contact. It's a tiny little circle of people. I avoid it. I don't even look in her direction. I it's so douchey what I do, because it literally probably comes off as like, I don't want to give this celebrity the time of day, and I don't want them to think that they're so important. It's not that at all. It's I can't make the eye contact. I cannot. Because then I do this weird thing where my mouth like kind of has a stroke and it like does half a smile and it's really weird. So I just avoid eye contact at all costs, right? Again, because this is how I think I'm making them comfortable. So somebody's talking to her and I'm kind of just waiting. And then just before you know it, someone from Maybelline grabs me. I turn around. There she is. There she is. And I didn't have a mint. I hate these situations when I don't have a mint because you're so close and I've been drinking alcohol. I give her a hug. I turned into like a 10-year-old boy. I don't know what, like I've never been, I don't even know what I said. I blacked out. I looked at her. She said, "You smell so good." That was the first thing she said to me. And I was like, oh, thank God. Thank fucking God. I was like, "Oh, thank you. I'm wearing Wall Street from Who is Elijah." And I said something along the lines of, "I just want to say you've been such a huge inspiration to me." And I said, "You really are my muse. You've always been my muse," which I don't want to do that for like say that too many of that, because it's like, okay, she hears that all the time. I want to give her something else, but I didn't know what else to give her, because what small talk do you make with fucking Miley Cyrus when you only have like literally 15 seconds, you know? Like, what are you going to say? "How's your night going?" Like, what are you doing later after this? Like, what the fuck do you say? So I just say, "You're my muse." And she said, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? Look at you. Look at your outfit. You're the muse." And I was like, "No, you can't do that to me right now. Like, Miley, you got to stick to the script. You just got to say, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Do you want a photo?" You can't give me any of that right now because I don't have anything else to give you. And then so she was like, "No, what do you mean? You look so cool. You're the muse." And I was like, "No, you don't understand. You're the muse." Like, it was just a muse contest. It was just like, "No, you're the muse." Who's the character in Hey Arnold that's like, the breathy guy? That was me. I was the breathy guy. "No, you're my muse." And my mom was like, you look at the videos of us. My mom was like, "Is Miley that much taller than you?" I go, "No, we're the same height." I was so hunched over because I was so nervous. I looked like a little gnome in front of her going, that I looked like I was literally a foot shorter than her. We're like legit the same height, but you would never know because my body just curled into a fucking ball. So then I got so awkward and I was like, how can I make this like, and I said, "Do you know?" And I named a writer of mine who was on All That, who I remained friends with, ended up being a writer also on Hannah Montana. And eons later, when I moved back to LA and I was an adult, I would get lunch and coffee with this writer all the time. And he always knew Miley was like my number one. And he always would reassure me how amazing she is. And I remember in particular, he was like, for an example, there was one time where she was leaving a restaurant or a cafe or somewhere, and there was a flood of paparazzi following her. And here I am, this little writer sitting at a booth, and she went out of her way to come up to me and say hi. So I was like, okay, I'm going to shoot my shot. Granted, I haven't talked to this writer in so many years. She could be like, who? But I'm going to shoot my shot. And I was like, "By any chance, do you know?" And she was like, "Oh my God, yeah." And I was like, oh, thank fucking God, because I did not practice the script if you said no. And I said, "Okay, well, I was on Nickelodeon when you were," and then I didn't know like how to be like when you were on Hannah Montana. So I was just like, "I was on Nickelodeon when you were doing your thing, and he was my writer and he was your writer, and he always said the nicest things about you." And she was like, "Oh my God, I love that. What a full circle moment for us." And then I was just like, "Let's get a photo." I was like, "Let's get a photo." Granted, like I could have kept talking until somebody pulled me away. I was like, no, let's take a photo. Like, please take a fucking photo with me so I can crawl into my skin and die. It was amazing. I smoked a cigarette after though. But then what's crazy is the gifting that we all got when we left that event. We get out of the event. The valet people are giving everybody like really nice ass record players, like Crosley record players with the clear lid, signed by Miley Cyrus. And then they gave us two vinyls, two vinyls. One was her newest album, and then the other one was she wrote a song for Maybelline. I'm like, dude, Maybelline's pulling a budget for this. So like they loaded up our black cars with these. It was wonderful. Okay, and then obviously my Maybelline campaign came out, and that was crazy. We shot that last December, a few days before I was moving. I think about last year was nuts. Last year was like really the rise for me. I was traveling all the time. I went to like New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, came home, packed my stuff, went to New York, shot this Maybelline thing, came back and moved. It was just bananas. What an awesome shoot. I really just thrive when I'm on set. And every time I am on set, it's always that like, okay, I needed that reminder that like that's where I in the long run belong, is somewhere on set. I just really, really thrive. But the night that we shot that Maybelline campaign, first of all, it was freezing. We went to New York in fucking December. Okay. We go to New York, and right from the airport, we go to a fitting, get to our hotel room. And I remember thinking like, everything ended, like the fitting and everything ended at like 4:00. And I didn't have a call time the next day until like 8, which is really fucking late for a set call time. So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to sleep 12 hours. This is amazing. Get back to my hotel room. The fucking, mind you, I can't stay at those small like boutique New York hotels anymore. Because every fucking time that I've stayed at one, literally that year, I stayed in New York 4 times. 3 of the 4 times, the fire alarms went off all night in the middle of the night. 3 different fucking hotels, okay? And I would post on my story at like 3 a.m, the fire alarm's going off. And so many people would be like, yep, welcome to New York. I'm like, do you guys have what's going on? You have a fire alarm issue? It was bananas. The 4th time was when I shot this Maybelline thing. Different hotel. They decide, mind you, these hotels, like you can hear, if I farted, my manager was like 2 rooms next to me. She could hear it. Like, if you have bubble gut and you got to shit your pants, you better go somewhere else, because I guarantee everybody on that floor is going to hear you. That's the kind of hotel I'm in. Well, somebody decides on a random fucking Thursday, which, by the way, who's having a wedding on a Thursday, is going to have their entire wedding after party in their hotel room, which was 3 doors down. So there was like a sea of drunk bitches walking in the hallway. And the way that I was woken up is I left my room service tray, which was made out of wood, in the hallway. And I was awoken by a drunk bitch who stepped on it with her heel, broke the wood in half, and fell into my fucking door. Okay? And then like fall back asleep for a little bit, wake up, and then one of the security guards is fighting like the groom. Okay? It was crazy. And then I went to the shoot and I was panicking because I'm like, you have to be on set and I'm on camera and I want to look good and feel good and be on my best behavior, you know. But I do thrive on set, so it was a good time for me. Wow, it was a really actually cool week. And it's Halloween, which is my favorite holiday, tomorrow. Whoa, it's Halloween tomorrow. Wow, it's crazy. It's Halloween tomorrow. We're going to Horror Nights. We go every Halloween. I didn't dress as anything this year, which is so uncharacteristic of me. It's my favorite holiday. It's my favorite month. I like always go ham. I didn't really do anything, but it's fine. You know what story I do briefly want to tell? There was a couple of funny Q&As, but Kelsey, I'm gonna let you rack up more before we do a full Q&A, because some of these questions are so ridiculous in a funny way. The one story I wanted to tell, which I don't think that I've ever told this. So I've told you the commercial audition when I was in Boston in the Shark Week. I don't know if I might have told this, guys. If you've already heard this, you can tune out of the podcast. I won't be mad. So commercial acting, dude. Yeah, that's another fucking ballpark. There are plenty of like theatrical actors, like television and movies, that also do commercials. The commercial acting grind, a lot of people that work commercials, like they just do commercials and they do such a great job and they're so good at it and they make their living from doing commercials. And a lot of them don't even venture into television or film. Commercial acting is honestly a lot of improv. Granted, I haven't been on a commercial audition in 150 years, so who knows what they're like now. But back in the day, these fools never know what they want. They never know what they want. They bring people in to get an idea of what they want, and then they just rip off one of those ideas, essentially, is what happens. I'm at a point now where I am like, I love commercials if it's like, hey, you're going to do this commercial. I don't have it in me anymore to go through the grind I used to go through as a commercial actor. I was commercial acting, voiceover acting, and television and film auditioning for all of those verticals at the same time. Commercial was always my least favorite because you go in, you don't get your sides, which are the words that you're reading, that you're acting out when you're in an audition. You don't get your sides usually till you get there and you sign in. You'll get there, you sign in. They'll say, yep, grab your sides next to the clipboard. You'll grab your fucking sides. You read them 150 times in the next 2 minutes and hope that any of it fucking resonated. And then you go in there. Sometimes you go in there with multiple people and you do it. But then like they'll give you lines and then they'll just randomly be like, okay, now do it like you just got hit by a car, but your mom's calling you. And you're like, got it. Okay. And commercial actors are quick with it. They'll be like, got it. I'll do it like this. Now do it as if you're Willem Dafoe in like it's wild how they do this. Okay. I have no fucking patience for that. My last commercial audition before I called my team and I said, I'm not doing these anymore, was in Boston. And I get to this audition. And also I think there are laws now in which you can't be like lingering at an audition for multiple hours. But back in the day, you would be in a waiting room for 2 fucking hours. And a lot of times there were multiple castings happening on the same day. And you'd have to go from Burbank to Santa Monica and you're waiting in a waiting room for 2 hours. And not only are you waiting in a waiting room for 2 hours, you're waiting amongst everybody else that's going in for that role. So you have 2 hours to really spiral about who you're up against and how bad you're going to fucking bomb this audition. I get to this audition. It's always a little intimidating when you get there and there's there's like a wide demo of people that are there. Because that's usually, unless they're casting multiple pieces of the commercial, that's usually a sign that they don't fucking know what they want. So they're bringing everybody in and hoping that they're like, yeah, this one works. There were men, women, children, twins, friends, couples. I go, God, Jesus. All I knew going into this audition was that it was for Dunkin' Donuts and Shark Week. Iconic. I could not fucking wait. This is amazing. I get there. We sit down. No sides. I go, that's a little bit of a red flag. No sides. We all just sitting in the waiting room. Then I start noticing that they're bringing 10 people in at a time. I go, get the fuck out of town. 10 people in at a time. My group of 10 gets called. So mind you, I'm amongst 9 other fucking people never seen in my entire life. And the casting director, they love this shit. They eat this shit up, right? When they pitch you what you're going to be doing, they're so enthusiastic. And I love that for them. I'm not enthusiastic about it. We get into the room. Casting director's like, all right, guys. Well, first, I guess I should paint the picture of what I see when I walk in the room. I walk into the fucking room and I see 10 strings hanging from the ceiling. And at the bottom of each of those strings was a donut tied to the bottom of the string. 10 donuts hanging from the ceiling. Casting director goes, all right, guys. Like that. Each and every single one of you are going to line up behind one of the donuts and you're going to pretend the donut is your prey and you are a great white shark. And I want you to take your time, swim up to your prey, and then I want to see you jump out of the water and attack your prey. That wasn't the moment. That wasn't the moment in which I knew I can't do this anymore. The moment in which I knew this might be my last one indefinitely was when I looked around the room in hopes of sharing the same reaction as one other person in the room. The reaction being, what the fuck did you just say? And I look around the room and everybody is beaming. Let's do this. Big smiles. They're already prepping. They're putting their hands behind their back. They're going to do this armless because they're trying to be a shark. I go, you know what? There are people that are really enthusiastic about this, as am I with other auditions. I think it's in my best interest that I save this space for those that are really good at it and really passionate about it. I get behind my fucking donut. I put my fucking hands behind my back. I swim up to the donut. I jump up, grab it, rip it to shreds. I leave with powder all over my face, which probably was the birthing of my cocaine rumors. And then I called my team and I said, hey, don't do that again. Don't do that again. Please don't do that again. Anybody that's listening who's a struggling actor, there's never a time in which you call your agent and say, don't send me another fucking audition, right? Like you got to be in the trenches to call your team and be like, hey, I know we haven't booked one thing in the past 6 years and I know we have no money, but don't give me another opportunity. I just had to share that story. Anyway, that's the fucking tea. Kelsey, do you have anything else to add? Oh, I'll read one comment. I'm trying to save it because Kelsey needs to collect. You guys need to you guys listening, can you please do me a favor and can you please go to the Life's a Joke pod Instagram and just send messages, spam the account with questions that you would like me to answer, topics you'd like me to talk about, advice you'd like me to give. I would like to do a full episode answering all of those questions, but some of you guys write things in that don't allow me to answer anything. It's just like, you're a bad bitch. And I'm like, thank you so much, but I can't do anything with that. I am going to read you one though, because it was fucking hilarious. What is your hesitation for taking ADHD meds? It's life-changing. Don't be a hero. X. Yeah, that was good. I said this yesterday when I was in glam. I've taken Adderall now a couple times. The first time I took it was at Coachella, and then I took it in New York, and then we just took it at Disney because we were so tired. It's not good. It definitely works for me. It just, I tried to explain to Shane that it's not that it like locks me into one specific thing and I can focus. It's more so, for an example, I was like, Shane, when you and I right now are talking at Disney at a little bench when we're eating food, you and I are having a conversation, and simultaneously I'm thinking about the music that's playing. Why are they playing that music? The person in that back right corner that's been staring at me for like more than a couple of minutes. The fact that I have this weird little itch in the bottom of my foot. The fact that there's an email I know I was trying to explain that to him. Once I have the Adderall, all of those things in the background kind of go away. So yes, it probably does allow me to focus on something. And it probably would be great to be on it. To be honest, I think that I'm so creative because my mind is usually going in a million different directions. Probably not healthy nor sustainable, but I feel like it keeps me creative. So you know what? Who wrote that? Do you know that bitch's name? So whoever wrote that, I am going to be a hero because someone's going to fucking do it. Someone's going to fucking be a hero. And honestly, I'm here to provide you guys with entertainment. And I can guarantee if I was taking Adderall, you would not find me as entertaining because I'd be like, what? We'll do the podcast next year. Fuck it. We don't need another episode. Anyway, I love you guys. Happy Halloween. I'll see you on fucking Thursday, hoes. Write in some fucking questions or I'm banning all of you from... I won't. I love you. Bye. Bye. The heart wants what it wants. Bye. Played all Selena songs.